Hi Aquarius, welcome to your birthday. Happy birthday to all of you. Thanks so much for being here with me. I am so excited to do the Aquarius reading. I actually already did it and it was so incredible. And I feel so connected with Aquarius because you rule my fifth house. And fifth house being creation. And tarot is what I create. And I have Jupiter in there, which enables me to, to continually create and to experience a great deal of beautiful things in my life because of these things. So I feel very connected with the sign of Aquarius, and I'm so happy that we had such an amazing reading for you. Astrologically, Saturn going through the 12th house, which we've been talking about for like 6 months now. And you have to remember, Aquarius, that Saturn is your co-ruler. You're ruled by Saturn and Uranus. And I was really thinking about what that means, and I was really meditating, and I was driving one day, and I was like, how can I make sense of this Saturn and Uranus co-rulership? And I feel like Aquarius is a sign that consistently feels restricted. They have this huge mind. Their ideas are endless. Their creativity is bar none superb. You're like one of the most intelligent people, the signs of the zodiac. And yet you are constantly being reminded that you can only go as far as human knowledge, as far as science has taken us thus far. You're the ones that are always pushing the limits, right, and pushing those restrictions. You are at the front lines of those restrictions. And now that we have officially entered into the age of Aquarius, you guys are our leaders in this, to break free from the crystallized energy of Saturn and the corruption and all of the systematic stuff that we are currently living in. And you're the ones that are going to start breaking those barriers. And I remember talking to you last month and saying, don't disappear. We need you. We need you still. And you're going to be faced with a couple of choices. We have the Sun squaring Jupiter. Jupiter is in Scorpio. We're going to have Venus squaring that as well. Mercury eventually is going to be squaring this Jupiter. And this energy really does cause tension. And so you can either choose to withdraw, continue to withdraw, or you can choose to connect. And you may have to put extra effort, extra emphasis on connections. Because it is through these connections that all these amazing ideas that you have can get implemented. And even if it's just like a mini revolution within your own life, many changes within your own life, pushing yourself and your own limits, your own career limits, your own love limits, this is the month for you to really, really do that, because there's going to be, without a doubt, there's going to be focus on that with that Jupiter square. And Mercury in Aquarius is such a high-minded time. It's about technology and communication, and it's about innovation, and it's such like, you guys are going to really be on point. I love a Mercury in Aquarius transit for everybody because our minds are so sharp, and we really are going to be able to communicate very well with one another, and communication with purpose and with progress. So it's a beautiful time for us all. We are going to have a new moon in your sign this month too, which is going to be great. Everything seems to look attractive as we look into the future, and I think you're going to feel this elated sense of optimism that maybe, I don't really know if you guys have been feeling pessimistic, but you're going to be feeling more and more optimistic as the month goes on. So I'm super excited for you guys this month. I will have a quick announcement as well. Comprehensive readings, I'm jumping on that bandwagon. They will be available on my website. All the information in the description box down below. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy your reading. Thanks. Aquarius, I'm shuffling and we get the Ace of Swords. Beautiful for an air sign. Ace of Swords is harsh at times. It represents truth, represents clarity, honesty, understanding. It also represents the concept of knowing. When you know something to be true. When you know someone's lying. There's nothing hidden below the surface with an Ace of Swords. It kind of comes in and it cuts through the jungle, and I kind of often see this as like a machete, as you're kind of making your way through this jungle, and the machete is what clears your path. With your solar return, you're feeling good, hopefully. Hopefully you have new opportunities coming in, you have new people coming into your life. Maybe there is even a burst of passion that comes your way. But all in all, there's this sense of knowing that you're on the right track, and knowing that things are the way they are for specific reasons, even if you don't see or understand those reasons yet. All right, there's no questioning here. There's no nonsense. It's cut and dry. It either is or it is not. And the thing with the Ace of Swords too is it doesn't get fooled by things like hope and fear, right? Because hope and fear are the same thing. It's just the opposite sides of the spectrum, right? But this is directly in the center. Neither hope nor fear, just what is. And that's the ideal place to be, because when we're operating out of hope, we tend to have secret fears. A hope is just a fear in disguise, right? And yet here is neither. So I couldn't ask for a better card for you this month. You guys are on my radar. You guys are on the docket. You've got a difficult transit going on, so this is positive, It's going to enable you to move forward in a way that, gives you a sense of empowerment. Now, Three of Pentacles. There is likely to be a lot of focus on projects for you this month as well. Likely for you to have a more practical outlook on life, because when truth is at play, practicality tends to kind of sit on the front burner. What makes sense and how do we get there? There's progress, there's creativity, there's a lot of communication, social activity. You're going to be busy this month. You are going to close deals this month. You are going to get those clients. You are going to find that relationship, or if it's not love, it's connections with friends, but this is things that feed your soul. And especially if you are in need of positive things in your life, this is the time for it to come in. Okay? This is definitely the good time for it to come in. For those of you who are in relationships, I think that your connection with your significant other will take on a more practical, goal-oriented, ambitious, kind of tone to it, which is good for an Aquarian, because it's not going to be like, the focus is not on the relationship, because I always often think that that's one of the more unhealthy relationships, when there's so much focus on the relationship itself as opposed to goals, what you are trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish, what can you give back, how can you contribute to society, how can you be a better person or be a better couple or whatever. And that's what this card emulates. The next card that comes out is the World. The World is that rite of passage. And this is a card that is very special to you, Aquarius, because you are represented here as the angel. All right, that's your symbol, the angel. We've got Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo here too. We call those the four faces of God. And, there's this rite of passage that you've earned. And you may have hurt people. Others may have hurt you. But it's all a part of getting to that true understanding of self. This is a card of Saturn. Saturn being karmic, being difficult, but always worthwhile. You are ready for that new thing. Ace of Swords, the new direction. I think you're ready for things to be easier, And even if things don't get easier for you, Aquarius, I think you have, I have to say this, I'm sorry. I was doing a private reading for someone who was an Aquarius, and something came to my mind, and I was like, I have to remember to say this to the Aquarians in February because it's applicable to all of you, I think. Aquarius is the one sign that I can give you the big picture and you can handle it, right? You can, a lot of times I have to kind of spoon feed some of the signs, maybe they can be a little bit oversensitive, or they can be a little bit, whatever, or they don't understand what I'm trying to say. But because you have this high-mindedness, you don't have to eat the elephant one bite at a time. You can just chomp down and eat the whole thing, And so I think that you are the ones that are going to be able to look at this upcoming Saturn transit the next couple years as a whole, and it's just a very, very small part and a very, very small chapter of your life. This world represents, in my opinion, Saturn entering your 12th house. And yes, it is a whole new chapter, and 12th house is about the subconscious. It's about your dreams, your imagination. It's about escapism. It's about spirituality. And so you are in for a journey of discovery. You are. Ace of Swords, a journey of discovery. And if you know that going in, it will make it a lot less confusing, The Nine of Pentacles. I'm loving the pentacles on either side. It grounds you. It pulls you down to the ground. It enables you to take hold of what you've got and to leverage it into something more. So all the learning that you've done over the past few years was very, very specifically for these transits that are coming up. Plus we've got Jupiter in Scorpio, which is squaring your sign. And so there's growth and expansion there for you, but it comes at a price. But you have the ability to keep things steady and sturdy. And I love this for anybody that I pull it out, because it lends itself to self-love, self-worth, having something to give, having something to share, being very confident on your own, a love of self. For those of you who are interested in your finances, there's so much opportunity for you to get on your feet financially. There's so many opportunities for you to grow and prosper. This is a card of prosperity. Seven of Swords. See, why running away? Be careful that you are not self-sabotaging. I often see the Seven of Swords as a card of self-sabotage, where we let our fears and our doubts get the best of us, and we end up not acting on things specifically because we don't want to fail. We don't want to lose. And that would be a mistake, because a thought is just a thought. And there's that old, really famous saying, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. And so, Seven of Swords, it's important for you to think about your thinking. I think I even talked about this in Pisces last month, to think about your thinking. Think about how you're absorbing information, to think about how you're reacting, to think about your expectations, to think about whether you are feeding yourself positivity or negativity. Are you your own cheerleader, or are you your own slave driver? You know what I mean? And I think we all kind of need to be cheerleaders this month, Aquarius. Be our own cheerleaders. I'm not seeing other people coming out here, you guys, so it's for now, as it stands, it's very, very much about just you and what you're going through and kind of what's going on in your life. No reversals yet. Okay. You can also prolong this process of transition that's happening here with the world. You're sort of teeter-tottering between the end of an old chapter and the beginning of a new chapter. And I think that you haven't quite jumped in. Still no reversals. 6 of Cups and the 10 of Wands. You haven't quite entered into that new place that you're like headed. So you're not quite there yet. And so the longer you kind of let those fears and doubts keep you here, the longer you're just going to stay here. It's almost as though you are running away from truth. You know, you are running in the opposite direction of what's real and what you know. Maybe some of you know that something's over, or maybe some of you know that something is real, right? You know that this is the relationship for you, and yet somehow you're afraid of that, you know? So be careful of, again, those hopes and fears. 6 of Cups. I had an epiphany with the 6 of Cups. I was watching a stupid show. What was it? I can't remember what it was. So like some romantic comedy movie or something. And oh, I know what it was. It was this I can remember. I'm sorry. I'm trying to give you the title because maybe some of you have seen it. I can't remember. Ryan Reynolds and that cute little girl with the red hair. Anyway, she was her little thing, the main character in the story, her thing was she had been her whole life kind of running around collecting copies of Jane Eyre, because when she was very, very young, her father had given her a book with a beautiful inscription on it. And at some point, the book got lost, and she's been trying to find it. Well, it's a romantic comedy, so you know, there's like, they go up and down and in and out of each other's lives, and eventually the guy finds the book, but he never gives it to her because they had gotten in a fight and they had separated and they were not talking anymore. And eventually he worked up the nerve to go to her office to see her again and to reconnect with her and to give her this book. And I was thinking about how she must have felt to just be living her life day to day, going to work, doing her normal thing, you know, nothing crazy, nothing exciting, just every day. And then all of a sudden, she gets this memento from her past that she had been searching for forever, like for her whole life. And it's, to me, was like such a 6 of Cups moment to have this special thing come back. And it can be a person resurfacing from the past, or it could simply be you're sitting on the couch and you're looking at your little whatever in your living room that holds all your little mementos, and you look at something and it sparks a memory. And for some reason it's sentimental and it gets emotional. I feel like with this card, I don't know why I felt inspired to say all that for you. Sorry for the runaround. But there's something so beautiful about that. And if you do happen to experience a moment like that, it's very specific. It's a very specific reason why that came back, why that person came back, why you got that text message, you know, or why when you look at that little trinket box on your dresser, that old ring that you never wore, like there's a reason why you're feeling compelled to wear that, you know, and to hang on to that because it's connected to this new chapter somehow. It's connected to where you're going, or it's a reminder that you are no longer in the past, perhaps it's a reminder that you're no longer there. And to be grateful for those moments and to be grateful for those memories. But in a weird way, the past often feels like an illusion. You know, it often feels unreal. You think back to 15 years ago and you're like, wow, I don't even feel like I lived that. And that's purposeful. And I think something like that, that type of energy is going to come in for you. Okay? 10 of Wands. You do have a journey in front of you. Okay, you do have things that are going to require work. You do have things that are going to require some, some hard stuff, hard things. And 10 of Wands, I always say, is always worth it. I often see this guy is carrying the sticks back to his house or his castle in the back there. And they're being used for something. So it's not like this load is useless or worthless. Okay, so whatever burden you feel like you're carrying, whether it's someone that's coming into your life and causing problems, or whether it's, a dream that you're hoping to carry out, a new business idea, whatever, keep going. There's promise of flourishing here. There's promise of success and wealth and prosperity. As long as you're ready for what's coming, and to be honest with yourself as much as possible about where you are, and to be ready for where, it's like be ready for your dreams to come true kind of thing in any area of your life. 6 of Swords and 7 of Wands. See, no people coming out. These are just very general energies. We have 1 major arcana. So it is pretty mild, this birthday coming in. It's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be very eventful for you. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be like a big thing, 6 of Swords, card of moving away. I'm loving the fact that there's movement away from 6 of Swords, is moving away from the 7 of Swords here. Okay, as I kind of like lay them down like this, it tells me that you're tired of this. And maybe this Ace of Swords, it's like, here you have 7, -1 gives you 6. And it is this one thing that must be addressed, this one thing that must be recognized and acknowledged to get you to stop doing this and to start doing this. Start transitioning, start moving forward. This is a card of spiritual development. It's a card of self-knowledge. It's also a card of gratitude and faith. And knowing that your successes and your failures, your victories and your flops, that they all are a part of you. And that is the fuel that's getting you through this next few years. 7 of Wands. There's a little warrior inside of you, Aquarius. A little fighter. Someone that doesn't wane in the face of adversary. And Aquarians are fighters. They're fixed signs. You're fixed. You guys are stubborn, just like Leo, Scorpio, and Taurus. Like, all fixed signs are fixed. And, they want things to be the way they like it. And you're willing to fight for it. See, there's definitely something worth fighting for. It's like your liberation, 6 of Swords, is worth fighting for. Your liberation, your freedom, your transition is worth the effort to protect. And I do sense a little bit of protection going on. Protecting this and this Ace of Swords. What I want to do actually. Let me see. Let me think on this for a minute. I don't know if I want to take another deck or not. I think I'll just keep going with this same deck. Just a couple more cards. 8 of Wands. Not surprised. A card of swift movement, and again another card of transitions. You guys, I swear I have reversals in here. You guys didn't get a single one. It's good, you know, no blocked energy. Just is. It is moving forward. It's chugging forward. It's doing what it's supposed to do. No obstacles here. 8 of Wands. Even communication coming in potentially. And then the 10 of Cups, which is a card of overall happiness, overall success in whatever it is you're hoping for. You know, 10 of Cups, I often see as unconditional love and gratitude. Unconditional love toward others. I remember last month I was telling you guys to not to disappear, because we really need you, especially like Capricorns, right? Like if you're, you know, you can't just disappear this month, because you are needed. Your presence, your innovative spirits, your creative minds, we need you. You, in a way, are kind of guiding us into a new age, right? Age of Aquarius, a new era, and you can't abandon us. And the 10 of Cups is a card of unconditional love, but not just love of you plus another person, but you plus humanity. Aquarius, you're the sign of humanity, you know, and making the world a better place. And I think some of you are going to come to a decision of some kind, Ace of Swords, of how you're going to be able to do that. How you are going to be able to make a difference in the world. And if that's through having a family, then it's through having a family and leaving on your legacy. Whether or not it happens or the pregnancy happens is totally a different thing, but there's a decision about what it is that you are going to do to leave your mark on this world. Okay? So now, you guys, this is going to be the end of the reading. I did introduce in the introduction my new comprehensive readings. I'm kind of jumping on that bandwagon. February is going to be free. All of the comprehensive readings will be found on my website, and that link is down below in the description. It's janeintl.com, like janeinternational.com. And so there you have it. Thank you guys so much. If I don't see you for the comprehensive, then I will see you next month in March. All right? Thank you so much. Happy birthday. Bye.